What's up YouTube? We'll be taking a look at the perfect deck for speed climbing the ladder today. Now, I originally found this on a Twitter post by Dr. LoR, or a Reddit post for that matter, which contains a bunch of spicy decks that were played at a high Masters tier and performed really well on the ranked ladder, so basically underplayed decks. And one of these was Riven Fizz combo aggro. I'm not even quite sure what to call this. It's somewhere in between, also has some control elements. It's kind of an interesting all-rounder list, and it was played by All Creation on the Asian server up to rank 4 on the ranked ladder. The core idea of this deck is to get a lot of buffs onto either Fizz or Riven, who of course both benefit highly from them. Fizz is very hard to block and very hard to remove due to his passive. You can stop all spells from targeting him. Riven just has a very high HP pool. Especially once she's leveled at 5 HP in the early game, it's very hard to remove. And we play the whole Blade Fragment package, everything except for Riven's signature spell, everything except for Weapon Hilt. But we flip Riven very, very often and consistently in this deck for sure. But this deck has two advantages compared to other all-in combo decks. One of the advantages of this deck is we play a lot of other cheap stuff, a lot of other cheap and well-statted units, and we can flood the board very aggressively. Which then again means we often have early pressure and we don't have to go all in on putting all buffs onto one of our combo cards, onto Fizz or Riven. We can often spread them out or only pre-commit 1 or 2 buffs, which means that then if our opponent tries to remove and spend all their mana trying to use a mini-morph or I don't know, some Get Excited Mystic Shot combo, we can then still buff the other units that are attacking alongside Riven and Fizz. And the other advantage, it's also tightly connected, is that because this deck puts out so much pressure so early, especially with additions of Arachnoid Sentry, which can always also be used offensively, as well as Shunpo for trying to get a fairly early rally turn, we often get those big hits in already or chip in a lot of damage already before our opponent really has mana available for a card like Minimorph or for enough removal for our big carries here. But not only that, the list also has a lot of utility. The Arachnoid Sentry Ravenous Flock combo is great for both offensive and defensive use, especially in the current meta that is kind of dominated by Lurk or Poppy Lulu Rally type of decks, any type of swarm decks. Being able to take out one of your opponent's key cards at very high mana efficiency without losing any tempo while keeping the aggression up is incredibly good for this deck. Furthermore, we have more utility in Conchologist, being able to pull us whatever we currently need. We have cards like Lecturing Yordle, which are great for board stabilization. It can block and then still attack. And of course, we can decide if we want to send the poison darts toward our opponent's face, or if we want to remove some chump blocker or maybe ping, for example, a Senna or some carry on our opponent's side, and then remove it with Ravenous Flock afterwards. And another interesting thing about this is, even though it's kind of a full send, very aggressive deck, we can still sometimes outvalue our opponents because we play triple hidden pathways, which are ridiculously easy to activate in this list, by the way, with all the blade fragments, as well as 3 Pokey Sticks, which can be used as burn, can be used for board control, can be used as Ravenous Flock activators, but of course also just as a nice little side effect, they draw us a card. Fizz is very easy to level in this list and protect in this list, and therefore Nexus Strike will often generate further cards that are actually scary for our opponent to face, because we can also just put a lot of buffs on this Longtooth Overwhelm unit, and it's going to be a threat on its own. And just as additional finishers, as well as additional protection, we have Sharpened Resolve, a very high utility buff to both power and health. Thorned Blade as a cheeky little one-off in case we need that additional damage. And I already mentioned Shunpo. Tech choices here would probably be Ruined Reckoner. Some people ask me, I haven't tried it myself yet. I felt like Shunpo was better because of what I've mentioned earlier, and that is we often have a very wide board. We don't only want to attack twice with only 1 unit, because that is easier to counter than attacking twice with a bunch of 2 attack and 3 attack units. And as for the mulligan, it always requires you to have certain matchup knowledge. Like sometimes you'll really want to find something like a Sentry Flock combo, but most of the times you'll be looking for Fizz, because he can already start shipping damage very early on, and he's also maybe the best finisher, of course, besides Riven. Most of the time we'll also want to keep Riven in our opening hand. The only exception would probably be playing against a burn aggro deck and not having a single 1 or 2 drop. Besides that, generally we look for early curve. So 1 drops, 2 drops into 3 drops. And yeah, like I said, rarely we also keep matchup specific removal, which could be Sentry, Pokestick, Ravenous Flock. So I personally had a blast playing this, and I also had some very, very great success. I was able to climb with this deck very fast because the games are very short, but it's also fairly consistent considering how many cards we draw and so on, and considering that it kind of has answers for everything. And what really amazed me was that most of the time you can outrace your opponent, and you can outrace just about any deck, because you can also slow down your opponent with Arachnoid Sentry and Ravenous Flock without losing much tempo yourself, and our deck is already pretty fast on its own. Also consider that most other aggro decks or tempo decks don't really run much removal, so they don't really have much interaction for our Fizz that gets buffed up to infinity, or to our leveled Riven with a Blade of the Exile, which can just hit once or twice and end the game real quick. But on the other hand, in one of the spicier games of the day, I was also able to out-control a Darkness deck. As ridiculous as that sounds, we ended up outvaluing it. Don't want to spoil it too much because the game itself was amazing. I'd say we just get right into it. A bunch of spicy, good gameplay examples that I think really showcase the different playstyles of this deck and the high utility.
Is it the mustache? Who knows?
Alright, we are up against Poros, Yetis? I'm not quite sure. 1 drop, 2 drop looks fine. The early viewer catches the FreshLobster. I suppose so, Larry. I suppose so. Although technically we're having a late start to the stream today. What is my opponent playing? I don't know if I should open attack or develop here. Let's risk it.
These hands know metal and magic.
Nice. Hey, let's send it in. I mean, 5 damage on turn 2 is something we can be pretty happy with. Yetis. It's just gonna be all out Yetis, won't it?
What's a warrior but hands to wield a weapon? The heart and mind to aim its strike.
Sentry is tempting but gets punished quite hard by Yeti. Kind of like Fragment and just winging it in.
Finally, some action.
This is really awkward if I don't know what my opponent's playing. Could be buffs. Let's just send it in like this.
Tread carefully.
Nice. Okay, so we got Blade of the Exile. Could go this, Blade, and Rally next turn if we don't play a unit here. And of course my opponent draws Yeti here. Okay, potentially scary. What in the... I mean, I think we still beat this. But it depends if our opponent has combo tricks or not. And we'll be going super risky. I'll block 1 Yeti, I'll go down to 1 HP, I think. Could also delay the Shunpo for next turn, though. Yeah, to be honest, that might make more sense. Just take the conservative approach here. We'll block these 2. So that Overwhelm hits for more next turn.
Your fate was written.
I don't know. I could have made... I should actually probably make twice the use out of Riven's passive. I'd probably just get the Blade here. open attack also plays around Ice Veil Archer if my opponent should run it. And then next turn I can still Shunpo plus Elixir.
Make these pieces whole.
This way we make use of the Riven passive twice. Nice.
Conflict awaits.
I probably should have Elixired, just because we already represent lethal on the first swing. Now I can either Shunpo or send in the combo trick right now. I think Shunpo is better. Hope for no freeze. Let's go! I mean, that was a nasty opening by our opponent.
At last, hope.
Found the window though. Spider aggro, that's gonna be an interesting one because this deck could technically outrace us. I think we really need a Fizz here. Okay, rough opener.
These hands know metal and magic. There's nothing to fear.
I could play Riven, my opponent's probably just gonna end round and flip at least. Could Pokey Stick here. Gets punished by Precious Pet or releases Champs by... Yeah, stun doesn't really do anything here. I think I like Pokey Stick.
See the world from behind a basilisk.
Okay, sacrificing Elise. No, I think I have to take out Elise here. This looks too greedy. Again, the units I play will be fearsome blockers, but still an Elise flip is something I don't want to see happening, I think. Okay, not the worst draw.
The past is a burden we must learn to bear.
Still gonna be quite iffy though. I just hope my opponent develops next round,
The cost of
which they
war.
probably won't do. Pokey Stick as long as my opponent doesn't hold a Fervor. We need more emote slots? What exactly do you mean? Oh man, all these 1-cost 3 units are coming a tiny bit too late. If I Pathways, there's only one Pokey Stick left. I don't really like the odds. On the flip side, if I don't die here, I can maybe win on the next attack turn with a Shunpo. I don't like my odds here. But if I play Pathways, I probably can't win next turn, right? Let's count this through real quick. We need Shunpo mana. And if we draw, it's like 2 out of... We have 1 out of 29 and then 1 out of 28. Yeah, the odds are really horrible. I would say we're more likely that our opponent can't finish us with burn than it is for us to draw a Pokestick. Ooh, no Doom Beast. Okay, probably no Doom Beast because that would have been insta-picked. Okay, so again, we want to make use of Riven's attack buff twice, right? Can we though? Wait, so next turn we'll have 6 plus... So we have 10 mana left for us. With a total of 10 mana, 5 is going to be Shunpo. All of this. Okay. I don't think we need to... Like, we can put Quick Attack on Fizz that is useless anyway. But I don't think we'll need the attack buff twice. Okay, we would have actually high rolled the Blade Fragment. But it shouldn't make a difference here. Because if both of these connect, I think we win anyway. Did I see the new Caitlyn theme? It's in the League of Legends channel? No, I haven't. Have I given Reckoner a try in this deck? No. It's a cute idea though, I'm gonna be honest. But this deck will fairly often also have a wide board. So Shunpo actually does benefit it. Okay, if it's no Fervor, no Doombeast, we win. Spread out damage. Doesn't really matter if...
No turning back now.
Our opponent has a Fervor with that anyway. GG. We got close though, we got close. It's Raceland again, climbing with darkness. Could keep Sentry and look for a flock. But I think we're just full sending this. I know his version plays 2 or 3 missed cards.
The past is a burden we must learn to bear.
And Rondok's fine. Don't want Riven to go to 1 and die to a ping. Kinda want Fizz to survive as well. Want the Blade next turn already. Yordle. Dart. Next turn I have 5+1. Runeweaver. Dart all the fragments, but then Fizz might die. I gotta be patient with the Yordle.
These hands know little and magic.
Don't think the overwhelm matters too much.
turning back now. Make these pieces whole.
Like, I could play the Yordle and bluff an Elixir of Wrath, but I'm not sure if the bluff is gonna go through.
The time for talk is over.
Riven probably gets mini-morphed. I mean, in this case, I think I can just play the Yordle.
Much to answer for.
Because if my opponent doesn't mini-morph Riven, I don't really mind anyway, right? The only real punish to this is stress defense Riven and like ping Fizz, I believe. And even then it's a huge risk for my opponent playing around Elixir of Wrath, because then if I Elixir Riven, the game's over.
No more hesitation.
Could end round. If I only swing with these two, that makes Minimorph much better. If I full swing, my opponent not having Minimorph gets better. But then I also push a lot of damage. I think I like full swing. Still not sure about the Yordle development here, to be honest. Okay. Well, in this case, it was quite worth it. So probably another Veigar in hand.
Work the fabric, minions. Work it.
I'm cold, I'm hungry, and there's rocks in me boots.
What if my opponent passes? Just end round? Okay, that makes it easier.
Heart and blade, both broken.
Both broken. I think we're in a good spot here. I don't think quick attack is worth it, right?
Hopeless, honestly.
Ah, I should have quick attacked in hindsight. It's kind of hard to say. Saving that 1 mana for later is really good. Like, Riven kind of did her job here. But of course makes something like Withering Mist much better.
The elements bind the living and the dead.
Okay, nice. I can pokey stick block with Blade Squire. Stress defense is really good for my opponent then. Like, stress defense on my Blade Squire forces it to stay healthy. Uh-oh. The only 1 HP units left are 2 Rune Weavers, 2 Blade Squires. I think just Conchologist and Chum the Waters is better. I can probably turn Flock into 4 damage. Either Pokestick Flock this. Is that better than Elixir though? It might not be. Because I could play Chum this turn. And I know my opponent plays Mist Call, right?
Much to answer for.
It's probably Elixir. That's a tough choice though. Flock is really good as well. So Flock gets punished by Stress Defense and Mist's Call though, and Elixir doesn't really get punished.
Long road ahead.
Okay, you are annoying. I like Flock to Flock Riven on the block, but Riven is probably getting Darkness before my opponent swings. If they already go hard to Squire. On hindsight, I kind of regret not having put the Overwhelm Fragment on. Missed the Darkness, that's interesting.
Oh, come on.
Is there a reason for it? I can't think of a reason to not utilize the Darkness there. Like, maybe my opponent wanted to keep Mist Call mana open, expecting me to block this and kill it. Could deny the lifesteal, or I suppose that's it. It doesn't really help them much here, does it? Okay, so if we play Blade, we allow our opponent to develop something like Rekindler, which would be annoying. So what do we do? All fragments on Riven. The issue is I can't beat Withering Mist, right? Wait, I should probably develop now that I think about it. Withering Mist here and here.
I must see how they work.
You're gonna catch me.
Concentrated forgiveness.
When will I find peace?
I think that was not the best target for the Darkness, considering I can replay Riven. Light of the Exile plus attack Elixir. Overwhelm. Is that more damage than Might right now? Probably. Jam everything on Fizz and keep one spell to win. Not while the opponent has Minimorph mana, no.
There's still much to answer for. Life is cyclical. Darkness ends.
To the world below.
This should be game. What can really beat us here? Vilefeast plus Go Hard, right? We push exactly 9 damage. Like, Go Hard on its own because of the heal already kind of saves them, but then we have Pokestick lethal next round. Oh no, we don't because of Ishtali. They'll have to block with Senna here though. This is very optimistic. So yeah, no. We do overkill by 1, so it's very unlikely our opponent has an answer here. Ah, damn. They'd have it all along, but we are outvaluing our opponent. Let's see. Rekindler now pulls Senna.
I will shape death as easily as clay.
Okay. So I could let this die. Oh, wait. Do we do the same thing again next turn? Tag this with the Chum the Waters, pull it to the left, try to go for lethal? Not really, right? I think we take care of the Ishtalis. We could play this to bait out Darkness, then Chum the Waters to have an Ishtali blocker.
Boring. That's why you always carry another pair of goggles.
My opponent would tap under Mist Call if that should happen.
Make the darkness your own.
Where does Vulnerable go? Doesn't really matter on this guy.
See the world behind a basilisk.
Don't think that development by opponent was good.
No fear.
We're dead to an Ishtali or a Vaegr at this point. And we'll play for out-controlling our opponent, actually. Quite paradox. Fizz Riven trying to out-control Darkness. My opponent also plays... what are they called? Go Hearts in Darkness, therefore giving us a better chance to out-control them.
Yep.
What we could do is only keep Fizz on the board the whole time so that Ishtali is not an out anymore. Because Ishtali needs to target Fizz. Oh no, it's 2 separate spells, right? It goes on the stack as 2 separate instances. Yeah, that doesn't work. So probably just play tempo, play Sentry for tempo. The only punishment would be a Senna or a Rekindler. Which is actually quite a punishment though.
Tide's coming in. Cheers, Darky.
Give my Fizz lifesteal? I wish I could. You wanna tell me how I can do it? I'm down. It does stop the final go hard from being used to give pack. That's true. Oh my goodness, that's a perfect chain of draws for my opponent though. Okay, seems like it's all spells.
Let us take a peek at life beneath the waves.
At this point, it feels like I might need to play another unit. I mean, I wouldn't mind going down to 2, to be honest. Four mana spell. 4 mana spell just gives targets for Darkness, for Go Hard. Like, my unit is gonna get farmed anyway. Okay, nice. I'm 1 damage off right now if my opponent doesn't have an answer. Okay.
Tentacles off the spectacles, please.
Next thing I know, I'm up to my britches in purple berries.
Can't quite get there. My opponent's hand might also just be bricked. Okay.
Lesson's over. We each dice, then come home.
I mean, I'm not dead here. Probably Dart, Senna, and then Flocker. But then I also don't have a hand left. I suppose the Sharks are gonna have to carry, because I need to block with both units.
Second time's worse.
I think I have to play Resolve, actually. Otherwise, the next Shark just dies to Darkness. Plays around Prank, and I can see if my opponent has like a stress defense type of thing. Don't really have other plays to make anyway. Okay, so my opponent only has one real card left in their hand. I should have maybe poked on the stack there earlier on. I would have seen the Arachnoid Sentry been drawn, which is of course slightly better than Longtooth on defense. Yeah, that was actually probably a quite significant misplay. Oh my goodness. Out of Pokesticks, one left in deck, but I have to block the 1/1 here if I want to win. Before many more, yeah, most likely. Like, we could play the Sentry and give it Overwhelm. Kinda plays around Minimorph. The good thing is if my opponent doesn't play a blocker, only has Minimorph, the Minimorph, the mana T still connects. Too expensive of a play. I can still play my whole hand. The thing is, right now, Withering Mist can't punish me. Yeah, of course. I was gonna say Senna is the only thing that can, and of course my opponent has it. That's a lot of hopium we're throwing up here. One of these is probably a go hard, that's the issue. Hey, we did it! We out-controlled darkness. I wonder what those last 2 cards were then. GG's though, that was a thriller. I really thought our opponent had it because I thought the last 2 cards must be something like a go hard or some other form of mini more for stress defense. But damn.